Hello friends, welcome to Mission to Mussoorie, the Hindu news analysis program presented by DEEKSHA SPACE. Today in this session we are going to discuss about December 13, 2020, the Hindu newspaper. Today's first article, India set to exceed climate targets, Modi. This article is being discussed in the context of online climate action summit which happened on Saturday. In this summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that India was not only on the track to fulfill the climate commitments it has put forward, but it would also go further. The analysis of this article will help us in GS section 3, that is environment part. The online event is held to mark the 5th anniversary of Paris Climate Agreement, which was signed in 2015. Here, 190 countries joined together and took up a committed action to limit global average temperature to 2 degrees Celsius. At this occasion, India pointed out that it has reduced emission intensity to 21% since 2005. And it was also mentioned that solar capacity was installed to around 36 gigawatts till 2020, and India have a target of reaching 175 gigawatts by 2022. At this occasion, it was also said that India is the 4th largest country with installed capacity of solar energy. However, India has also set an ambitious target of reaching 450 gigawatts by 2030. As we all know, India has pioneered in International Solar Alliance and Coalition of Disaster Relief. So at this occasion, we need to have a clear understanding of International Solar Alliance and Coalition of Disaster Reliance. So International Solar Alliance, as we all know, it is a coalition alliance of 121 countries which was instigated by India, and most of these countries are sunshine countries. What are sunshine countries? Those countries which either completely or partly form between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. The primary objective of International Solar Alliance is to reduce or is to have an efficient consumption of solar energy to reduce dependence on fossil fuels. Another important point to be remembered here is countries that do not fall into this Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn can also be the member of the alliance and enjoy all the benefits as other members, but they won't be having voting rights. So another important fact to remember is United Nations. So after United Nations, International Solar Alliance is the largest grouping of states in the worldwide. So with this prior information, International Solar Alliance can be an important prelims question in this year. Second, Coalition of Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, which is again an international coalition of countries, United Nations, multilateral development banks, private sector and academic institutions. This CDRI was launched by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2019 at UN Climate Action Summit in September. Here, the major aim is to promote disaster resilient infrastructure, and the objective is to promote research and knowledge sharing in fields of infrastructure risk management, standards, financing and recovery mechanisms. In 2047, India is going to celebrate 100 years of independent modern India. And it is determined that India will not only meet the targets, but it will exceed the expectations. Yesterday, we discussed in our news analysis with respect to NDC commitment of India, where it has given that the intensity or emission intensity will be reduced by 33 to 35% of GDP by 2030. So this is about important analysis of this article. With respect to prelims, as I said, International Solar Alliance is very important. Coalition for Disaster Relief is also very important. And with respect to basic information about Paris Climate Agreement and about NDC commitment of India. With respect to mains, there can be a question about what steps are being taken by India in order to reach the commitment of 33 to 35% GDP by 2030, or there can be a question with respect to International Solar Alliance and Coalition for Disaster Relief also. So it is better to have a clear understanding of these issues in the perspective area. Next article is with respect to National Family Health Survey finds jump in vaccination. Today we are going to discuss this article in the context of National Family Health Survey 5 Phase 1 report have come out. So here in this article, we are briefly going to look out the important aspects what National Family Health Survey has come out with. So before that, let us see what this National Family Health Survey is all about. It is a large-scale, multi-round survey conducted at household level throughout India. The first survey of National Family Health was conducted in 1992 and 93. After that, we had 3 rounds of National Family Health Survey. It mainly provides information to state and national about fertility, infant and child mortality, practice of family planning, maternal and child health, reproduction health, nutrition, anemia, utilization and quality of health. Each successive round of National Family Health Survey has 2 major objectives. These need to be noted. The 2 major objectives of conducting National Family Health Survey are to provide essential data to the Health and Family Ministry in order to have sufficient data for program implementation and to have policy and program purpose. Second, it provides an important data about emerging health and family welfare issues. So these are the 2 major aspects of why National Family Health Survey is conducted. So the 5th edition of National Family Survey has shown that there had been a considerable improvement in vaccination of children between the age group of 12 to 23. In Andhra Pradesh, if we see, the vaccination has increased from 65 to 73%, and in the same context, the diarrhea among children has increased from 6.6% to 7.2%. West Bengal, at the other end, if you see, there has been increase in the institutional births, that is from 75% to 91%. However, the children with anemic diseases in Gujarat have increased from 69% to 79%. So, in this context, there are supporting statements which shows that India has performed well with respect to health indicators when compared to National Family Health Survey 4. In National Family Health Survey 4, if we consider, the fertility rate has decreased and people have started more contraceptives compared to phase 1 states. However, here the another point has to be noted that women empowerment indicators as of women with bank accounts and other indicators have shown a considerable progress. These points helps us to understand the present health status of India and what measures and policies need to be taken in order to have a healthy India in future. So the analysis of this article with respect to prelims context, National Family Health Survey information is very important, and for mains, the points what are being given with respect to Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal and women health indicators, if you want to write these points, the statement saying that as per National Family Health Survey 5, these indicators have performed well will give a clear understanding to the evaluator, and your answer will be having a more weightage with respect to other candidates. Next article is not in favor of imposing family planning, government tells Supreme Court. Today this article we are discussing in the context of an advocate filing an petition at Supreme Court to introduce population control law. The petition says population explosion had been a bane to the country, and because of which there are no effective implementation of population control measures. Healthy India, literate India, prosperous India, strong India, sensitive India will not be successful unless and until there is a clear population control law. To this petition, government has come up with the answer saying that from 2001 to 2011, it has witnessed a sharp decline in rate of Indian population compared to last 100 years. So this decade has shown a decline in the rate of Indian population. And the other point need to be understood is family welfare programs in India are voluntary, and it cannot be made compulsion to adopt family planning, because India is a signatory to Program of Action of International Conference on Population and Development 1994. So please note this, India cannot put a compulsion with respect to family welfare program because it is a signatory to Program of Action of International Conference on Population and Development 1994. What is this program, or what is this signatory conference? This conference was held in 1994 in Cairo at Egypt. Its resulting program of action is steering document for United Nations Population Fund. United Nations Population Fund, in yesterday's article we have discussed briefly. This conference consisted of UN agencies, NGOs, medias, which were discussing on variety of population issues including immigration, infant mortality, birth control, family planning, education of women and other issues which are unsafe for abortion services. Since India is signatory to this conference, it cannot put up a compulsion with respect to family welfare program. However, the government also said that India has seen a constant decline in total fertility rate. What is fertility rate? Fertility rate is the measure of number of live births per 1000 women in an year. So total fertility rate of India at present context is 2.2 and our target is to reach 1.8. So this is easily achievable without any law also. So there is no need of any population control law is the answer given by government to the Supreme Court petition which was put up by Ashwini Kumar Upadhyay. In this article with respect to UPSC, the prelims point of view, we need to have a clear understanding of UNFPA. We need to have an understanding of Program of Action of the International Conference on Population and Development 1994 and about concept of total fertility rate, what is India's present total fertility rate and what is achievable in a future course of time. Next article, Western Sahara on the edge after Israel-Morocco deal. As we all know, on December 10th, Morocco established its diplomatic ties with Israel. And this was the fourth Arab nation in this year after Bahrain, Sudan, UAE. This is very important with respect to prelims. The analysis of the article what we are going to discuss here will be useful for us in General Studies paper 2, effects of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interest and India's diaspora. As we all know, Morocco's decision to establish formal ties with Israel, US has recognized Morocco's sovereignty over Western Sahara region. So, the benefit Morocco has got by establishing diplomatic ties with Israel is US has recognized the sovereignty over Western Sahara, which was a disputed territory in northwestern Africa. Over a decade, Morocco had control over this area, but it had been campaigning internationally using economic pressures and at diplomacy level also for recognition of its claim over Western Sahara region. However, after getting diplomatic ties with Israel, this is the positive benefit what Morocco has got. So why it was a claim or it was a disputed territory over a long period of time, let us see in detail. Western Sahara region is an arid and sparsely populated region which is sharing border with Morocco, Algeria and Mauritania. And on the other end, it has long Atlantic coast and which was a Spanish territory. So this is brief background which you should remember. This region was a home to a tribe called Sahrawi tribe. This is also very important. This was home to Sahrawi tribe. Let us go to the timeline now. In 1970, there was an international and local pressure on Spain to vacate this area. However, Libya and Algeria at this time joined with Sahrawi tribe to create an insurgency group against Spanish rule in Western Sahara. The Popular Front for the Liberation of Saguia El Hamara and Rio de Oro. This front was called as Polisario Front, which is used here, Polisario Front, which was against a Spanish colonist. In 1975, there was a Madrid Accord. What was this accord? This accord was signed between Morocco and Mauritania, where Spain decided to leave this territory and which was called as Spanish Sahara. According to this accord, Spain decided to leave this territory on Feb 20th, 1976. Until then, a Governor General would administer this territory was as per this accord. However, Moroccan and Mauritanian deputy governors will help the governor who is going to stay on behalf of Spanish. Then, Polisario Front, which was formed with the help of Algeria and Libya, were against this agreement. At that point, Morocco and Mauritania moved their troops into Western Sahara. They claimed the rights over this region. Polisario, which was backed by Algeria, started a guerrilla resistance against Mauritania and Morocco for withdrawal. On Feb 27th, one day before Spanish colony was about to vacate, Police Area Front declared SADR region, that is Sahrawi Arab Democratic Region. This red line you can see here, this was called as Sahrawi Arab Democratic Region in Western Africa. However, this SADR was recognized by several African countries and is also member of African Union. Then what is Morocco's claim now? Morocco and Mauritania, which had claims over Western Sahara even when Spanish colony was there, in 1974, International Court of Justice asked United Nations General Assembly to find out any legal ties which are there between Morocco, Mauritania and Western Sahara region. However, historically, it found that there were no evidence of any ties of territorial sovereignty. But there were few tribes in this territory who were loyal to the Sultan of Morocco. In its conclusion, United Nations General Assembly came up with a resolution called 1541, which affirmed that to ensure decolonization, complete compliance with the principle of self-determination is required. When this verdict was given, or when this resolution came up, Moroccan King Hussein II hailed the court's opinion and started to take over the claim over Western Sahara region. At this time, Mauritania also joined with Morocco, and Mauritania, Morocco and Polisario had a war between them, which was called as three-way fight with Polisario Front. The three-way fight continued for around 4 years, and during this time around 2 lakh Sahrawis had to flee their region and move to Algeria into different refugee camps. Over the course of war, Mauritania forces withdrew from the southern part of desert, having signed a peace treaty with Polisario. But Moroccan troops did not withdraw and they continued and advanced their troops. In 1991, there was a ceasefire agreement which was signed, and an independent referendum will be conducted in Western Sahara was promised by international organizations. However, by this time, Morocco had covered almost 80% of this Western Sahara region. Here, at this point of junction, one has to remember the independence referendum which was supposed to be held has not happened till today, and Morocco establishing diplomatic ties with Israel has given an international recognition by US about the claim over Western Sahara region. What impact does this deal is going to have over the claim of this region when it is asked? Direct deal it may not have over Western Sahara region, but the recognition given by US could flare up the conflict. However, as decided in 1991 that there will be independence referendum which is yet to be taken place, this recognition might cause some disturbance in this region again. However, the move by US has been condemned by only one country, that is Russia, stating it is a clear violation of international law. This is about an overall understanding about Morocco establishing diplomatic ties with Israel, how it is benefited, and what is the present conflict which is going on in Western Sahara region between Morocco and Polisario forces. Next article, can vaccines with emergency use approval be used at population level? This article we are discussing in the context Pfizer mRNA vaccine which has got approved for the emergency use by UK, Bahrain, Canada and Mexico, US. The company has also applied for emergency use approval in India, which was rejected by Drug Controller General of India on the basis of safety and efficacy of the data. As we all know, vaccine tested and manufactured in India would take a little longer time to reach the stage where data are available to support emergency use approval. The analysis of this article will help us with respect to GS paper 2, issues relating to development and management of social services, services relating to health, education and human resource. As we all know, India has spelled out 4 risk groups. Those are first, healthcare workers, second, frontline workers, third, those above 50 years of age, and fourth, those below 50 years of age with comorbidities. They will be getting priority over the vaccine, and the same listing or priority has also been defined by most of the countries in the world. In the likelihood, vaccines including Indian ones granted emergency use approval at least by end of next year, we will be able to use it based on the data available with respect to safety and efficacy. However, at this point of thing, there is one question which is being asked, whether after emergency use approval, we will be able to use this vaccine as a mass vaccination, where COVID-19 is a transmission disease and which has caused havoc all over the world. However, here the medical experts have been stating that full approval is needed before beginning universal vaccination, and mass vaccination without any or without only partial data is always unethical, and evidence-based implementation is essential for mass vaccination. These 3 points which have been told by the experts clearly states that the vaccine which will get emergency use approval will not be made available for mass vaccination. Next article, how to use camera traps more ethically in wildlife research. The analysis of this article will help us with respect to GS paper 3 environment. There is a very good tagline which is being given here. What we do for biodiversity always matters, but how we do it matters even more. The analysis of this article is speaking about a study of snow leopard or research which is being done in Mongolia, India, China and Kyrgyz Republic, where camera trap methods are used as an important tool to detect the movement of snow leopards. However, this has also become a tool to detect illegal movement also. But the question here asked is, are the people who are entering into the zone or who are doing illegal activities are informed about the camera traps put in? If we have seen in ATM machines or in ATM tool booths, there we find that you are under CCTV surveillance. So that gives a caution for the people that if they do anything wrong, they will be caught and taken legal action. In the same way, why not when we are implementing camera traps in forest or in any region, there are local people moving, there are poachers who are moving, there are illegal activities which are going on, but if they are not informed, that is ethically not right, is the author what he is saying here. Ultimately, when we want to save or conserve our habitat and wildlife, the forefront partners in that are the local people, are the people who are living around the region. So they should be informed first, then the implementation of technique is always good. However, it is not being said that with the help of cameras, the poachers or illegal movements are being caught or wrong. But before that, the implementation of camera should be clearly pasted or informed to the people around that it is being done. Because silently getting the people caught by using camera trap techniques is ethically not right, is what is being discussed here. Next article, a platform developed for diagnosing tuberculosis from urine samples. This article we are discussing in the context of a new type of diagnostic method developed by IIT Madras to have an understanding about pulmonary TB. First, let us see what is pulmonary TB. The analysis of this article helps us in respect to GS paper 3, recent developments and their application and effects in everyday life. With respect to pulmonary TB, it's a bacterial infection of lungs that causes long range of symptoms like chest pain, breathlessness, severe coughing, and pulmonary TB is a life-threatening disease and it needs to receive treatment. So people with active TB can spread the bacteria through air. As we all know, at present context, pulmonary TB is tested using sputum sample or detection technique like biopsy. However, these two techniques are little difficult and time consuming and difficult in the context of children, and extra care has to be taken whenever we are treating pulmonary TB. At this context, in order to reduce the amount of time and have an easy detection method, the IIT Madras has come up with a new technique where urine samples can be used in order to diagnose this pulmonary TB. The cell wall and cell membrane of bacterium tuberculosis, if you all remember, this is the causative agent for TB. The cell wall and cell membrane of Mycobacterium tuberculosis is made up of glycolipid lamb. This glycolipid lamb or Mycobacterium tuberculosis, when a human being is infected, it is being also released in the blood stream. After this, due to active infection, it is passed out in the urine also, which can be used as potential biomarker in order to have a diagnosis about pulmonary TB. So this is a new method which has been developed, and however it has to again undergo clinical trials. We will have to wait and watch, but this revolution in the technology will help us in diagnosing pulmonary TB in a better way. Today's last article, how epigenetics alters inherited genetic message. This is very good article with respect to understanding of how we can restore the vision of a person with epigenetics as an understanding. The analysis of this article will help us with respect to General Paper 3, recent developments and their application and effects in everyday life. Today, this article we are discussing in the context, a paper has been released which was authored by Liu et al., which was named as Reprogramming to Recover Youthful Epigenetic Information and Restore Vision. What is epigenetics? We will read in between, however, I will explain at that point of time. So here we need to have an understanding of epigenetic noise and gene expression and DNA. If we all know very clearly, I will briefly say the overall context of this article. The epigenetic noise here is being spoken about the disturbances in the chemical behavior or chemical nature of human body. And when this epigenetic noise is seen, there are changes in the genes which are happening. And as we all know, in entire body, the genes are given specific function with respect to position of the body. And when gene is getting disturbed, then ultimately DNA is also going to have changes. And as the aging is going to happen, we see there are changes with respect to vision. And once this epigenetic noise, because of which gene expression or gene is getting disrupted, that can be fixed back automatically, there will be restoring of sight, is what briefly the author is trying to say. Let us see in detail what I am trying to say or what this paper is trying to say. As we also know, eye is a remarkable organ in the course of evolution, however, which has allowed us to see the external world more clearly and colorfully. Biologically, we have read with respect to eye that cornea, lens and vitreous human gel. These are transparent, colorless, helping in incoming of light into retina. This retina is made up of RGC cells. What are RGC cells? Retinal ganglion cells. These cells help to process of sending the message in the form of electrical signals called neurons or nerve cells. So RGC cells are the one which convert optical light which is coming into neuron cells. So that was about eye. Apart from that, let us see what are the cells, tissues and all. So as we all know, cells and tissues control our body action. And the cells and tissues are made up of thousands of proteins which regulate the cellular function. These proteins are in turn encoded by their respective genes which form a genome or cellular DNA. Any minor changes in this inherited DNA or gene will have mutation and can result in altered protein synthesis or protein function, which will have again disorder with respect to cells and tissues. There we know that the changes in the body can happen due to the alteration in the DNA, or it can also happen due to biochemical changes. The biochemical changes can be synthesized in the body due to stress or due to pressure or due to various reasons. The changes in the body which are leading to the change in the protein synthesis and affecting the cell and tissue function is called epigenetics. So I hope you are now clear with the concept of epigenetics. So let us see another example. Like if we all know that insulin cells are present all over body, but insulin is not generated in any part of the body except pancreas. In other part of the body, the insulin generating genes are actually off, that is suppressed. That is why the gene which is active only in pancreas will come up with proteins. So this helps us in understanding how this gene, DNA, protein and biochemical reactions are actually interlinked together. In the other way, if you can see the tumor cells. What are tumor cells? Tumor cells are the one which suppresses or there are tumor suppressant cells which actually stop the development of this tumor cell. Once the tumor suppressant cell become weak, or if it does not function, then tumor starts getting developed. So here in this paper, the author is trying to say that biochemical changes that dictate the expressivity of gene in a particular cell, which are also called epigenetics, can be understood and used to solve the problem of vision, which are seen or which are happening, that vision is being lost due to this epigenetics. So the author is confident enough that due to the changes of epigenetics which are happening in the vision, it can be restored if the gene which has suffered from the change of biochemical reaction can solve the problem. So this article is entirely speaking about the epigenetic, or the vision which is lost due to epigenetics can be restored once the gene is made right. This is all about today's Hindu News article. We will come back with new edition tomorrow morning. Till then, take care of your health, study well. All the best. Jai Hind.